Hey, what's going on, guys? Felix here from Podcasting Secrets and the Podcasting for Entrepreneurs group on Facebook. If you're not part of it, you're watching this somewhere else, make sure to hop over, look up Podcasting for Entrepreneurs and join the group. I go live all the time and share lots of great content, launching a podcast and growing your podcast. So today I want to talk to you about what separates a successful podcaster from everyone else. And I was in the Podcast Movement Facebook group, and if you're not familiar with Podcast Movement, it's basically the biggest podcasting conference out there. And there was a podcaster that talked about how he just hit his 20 millionth download and is on track to doing 1 million downloads per month. And they're doing a daily podcast, lots of research, lots of work involved, right? And I was thinking about like what separates someone that's doing 20 million downloads versus someone that has no downloads or hasn't even got any listeners really yet for their podcast. And I think this is the case for anything, any pursuit that you go after. And I hear it's all the time from entrepreneurs that interview on the Shopify Masters podcast. And what separates people that are successful from everyone else is that they just had the confidence to take action, and more importantly, continue to take action, right? I think it's great to want to get started with a podcast. It's great to launch a podcast, get rolling, but it's where when things get hard, when consistency is involved, when dedication, when you have to be disciplined and release an episode on your schedule on a consistent basis, when that has to happen, that's what separates the successful podcasters from the unsuccessful ones. Is just the ability to consistently execute. And I think the key to consistent execution is not just forcing yourself to do it. It's about how to set the habits, how to set up the process, how to set up the momentum so that you are consistently in a situation, a position to produce content, produce episodes. And I think a lot of it goes back to just having the confidence to take the action, right? Having the confidence to believe that you are spending your time on the right things, having the confidence to believe that podcasting is the right thing for you. And that's the same thing again with anyone that is pursuing anything, any goal in mind. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, of course, on the Shopify Masters podcast. And one thing I hear all the time is about how people came so close to giving up at certain points, but they pushed through, and on the other side of it was momentum to get them rolling even faster, and led to the success story that is the reason why they're on my Shopify Masters show. And I've heard this also from other entrepreneurs and other books that I've read, which is that most people give up and they will be devastated if they knew how close they were to success. There's something about getting so close to success, getting so close to reaching a milestone where things get a lot easier, because at that point is when your life shifts, right? Your identity shifts, your belief in yourself shifts, and there's something inside of us that compels us, that revolts us from wanting that shift. And I think it goes back to human evolution, where we just don't want change, right? We don't want change in our lives. We want to keep things consistent. I think our body, our minds know when we're about to break through and have an identity change and develop into the person, and develop into the entrepreneur, develop into the podcaster that is required of us to be a successful podcaster. And our body knows that, our mind knows that, and we are afraid of change, and we find ways to sabotage it. We find ways to give up on it. So I think that's what separates the people that are ultimately the super successful podcasters, the successful entrepreneurs, successful business people, from people that are everyone else that are not successful. Is just having the confidence to believe in the actions that you're taking. And having that confidence, you don't have to have crazy confidence. You just have enough confidence to continue to put in the work and adopt this mentality of no 0 days, right? Every single day is a day that you are taking towards advancing towards your goal. So that's something to keep in mind. Like, how do you develop the confidence to believe in the actions that you're taking? I think a lot of it goes back to just ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? Why am I investing time in starting a podcast? Like, why is having a successful business, why is having a successful business powered by podcasting important to you? Why is your message important to you? Why do you want to get out what you want to get out? And I think that's key. Identifying that, and then it's not enough just to answer that question once. So you have to revisit every single time you feel your confidence waning, or you feel like you cannot be as consistent. You have to revisit that why. Like, why are you doing this? And I'm constantly trying to get better at that, understanding like the why of why am I doing this. And I am now much more laser focused on pursuing my goals of, growing my podcasting group, growing my podcasting business, putting work into creating my podcasting course. And it all comes down to having a confidence that the actions, the steps that I'm taking are leading me towards a place that I want to go. If you cannot confidently say that, I think that's the part that you have to work on first. Otherwise, the rest of it just becomes an uphill battle. But once you start recognizing that the steps you're taking are the right steps, you will have the confidence to take those actions. And by having the confidence to take those actions, that's how you can remain consistent and separate yourself from everyone else and become successful in the field that you want to go after. So hopefully it helps you out, when you're thinking about starting a podcast, thinking about starting a business, like thinking about how do I stay consistent? Think about how can you empower, how can you reinforce the confidence that you are taking the right steps, that you are spending your time on the right things. So hopefully it helps you out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.